Blair, great to have you joining me this morning as part of 10 Minutes of Morning Calm here at New Church Live. And today we're going to talk about is letting go of the arguing. And it's a tough one because a lot of the time we can get into relationships where argument almost becomes the modus operandi, becomes sort of how we relate to another person is actually through the argument. And there comes a point in time where we need to be clear that we may just be able to let the argument go. And we've been looking at this story where Abraham talks about, like, look, this is an ancient patriarch, by the way, those who's joining us the first time. It's a representative story. He says, look, I've lived this kind of life, but my life is a hollow shell. I remain childless. So here's this story about this childless patriarch, and the reality is the story has something much deeper to it, which is about times where we have a religious faith, but it's kind of just the external of it. It's just the shell of it. And we're really looking for something that's generative to come back into the middle. And if we're going to do that, there's a couple of things that are really significant. And one is the incredible significance of kindness, like just keeping kindness first. It was interesting reading through, getting ready for this morning, this idea of kindness, and we can get caught up because there's plenty of passages in the Bible that appear to show a very angry, vengeful God. We in the Christian New Church believe that's just an appearance. That's not actually real. And that most of us really know that. Most of us really know that the kindness is the very core of love, and the core of God and the core of us. And when we start to come from that place, arguments start to look very, very different because we're no longer breaking the world into binaries. I know that's one of the biggest challenges I think that we have is this idea of binary, this idea of this or that. It doesn't mean that there aren't times to stand up. There aren't mean that there aren't times to have a voice. It certainly doesn't mean there's never a time to argue with someone. But what it does mean is that we become vested in the argument as an end in itself. Like the whole point is about the argument, and that's where we get our energy from. Then we're starting to miss. Now, Swedenborg goes on to say this rather startling statement, which I love, which is an important reminder, again, of why we can just learn to let go of the argument. He says, uh, those who devote themselves to doctrine rather than to a life of love quibble about everything and condemn everyone who does not speak as they do, which is really interesting. Even as a footnote there, they use the word believe. And it's interesting, folks, right? If we really get into like the arguing perspective of life where everything is an argument, that's not wisdom. And what it ends up doing is condemning other people all the time, that they just don't get it. And boy, we have to be so careful with that. And again, to be frank, they may not get it. But just I think we have to consider, and this is something I think about a lot working with couples, is how many times have you actually argued another person into your perspective? And there may have been an occasion and may have been a time where it was important for them to understand your perspective, but the idea that you're going to change their mind pretty rarely happens. So folks, it's a pretty simple lesson here, which is just figure out a place today where you can really just let go of the arguing. I mean, that's it. And so much of a Christian perspective is that when we let go of that, kindness appears. There just is something much deeper and richer underneath it that we want to be able to be tapped into, so to speak. So, simple lesson today, friends. You know where those arguments go. Maybe you can find a place to simply let one or maybe even two go. All right, dear friends. What we're going to do now is now we're going to shift gears. We're going to shift gears and we're going to take a look at having a little quiet time here. It's a little meditative time. What we do is we ring a prayer bell. After we ring the prayer bell, what we do is we have a moment of meditation and then a moment of prayer. And then we do a little blessing and we say hi to everyone on social media. So with that, friends, let's get a little breath as we get ready for the prayer bell here. Be still and know that I am God. Be still and know that I am. Be still and know that I. Be still and know that. Be still and know. Be still and. Be still. Be. Our Father, who art in the heavens, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, as in heaven, so upon the earth. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our debts, as we also forgive our debtors. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, and the power, and the glory forever. Amen. May the Lord bless you and keep you. May the Lord make his face to shine upon you and be gracious unto you. May the Lord lift up his countenance upon you, bring you peace, bring you home. Amen. All right, dear friends. Well, wishing you all the very best. And we're going to say a quick hello here to folks on social media, and then we will close the last little bit here. So let me pull that on up. And again, hopefully, folks are seeing the snow start to melt, which is what we're seeing here. Okay. All right, Marcus, good morning to you, buddy, and I hope you're doing well. All righty. And a couple other comments over here. Frank, beautiful morning to you. And Cherry, good morning to you as well. So, friends, just wishing you all the best this morning. And a little final note about support of New Church Live, which we deeply appreciate. Take care. Like our content? It's funded by viewers like you. Please consider becoming a sustaining supporter of New Church Live today. Take care, my dear friends.